thanks for making time for us.
Oh,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming up. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
I want to start going back to, I believe it's December 3rd, 2007. You're elected the next
Sure.
president and chief executive officer.
Boy, going back a long way.
Way.
Yeah.
Could that version of Mark Murphy fathom today's version of Mark Murphy and everything that's happened in what will be 18 years?
That's a great question. Probably not, and especially talking about getting ready to host the draft. That was back in 2007. The draft was in New York City, and it wasn't a big deal. And obviously, in 2015, when they decided to take it on the road and they started with Chicago, really completely changed the nature of the draft.
So it was 2015, and doing some research, a scheduling conflict at Radio City Music Hall. I believe it's like an Easter event.
Yeah.
That had the priority, and that's what.
That tells you that.
And that is the first domino that falls and ends up to where we are today. How soon was it you or who comes up with the idea, hey, let's bid for this, and how soon did that happen?
Yeah, you know, I can't remember exactly, but it was probably maybe 2016 and 17 when, you know, when they started taking it on the road, and it was in Chicago for 2 years. I think we decided as an organization that, hey, you know, Green Bay would be a great place for the draft. You know, we'll never get the Super Bowl, but this would be fantastic for not just the Packers organization, but the entire state, the whole community. So we kind of raised our hand and said, you know, what about us? Take a look at us. And, you know, I think with our history and tradition and what that means to not only our organization and the state here, but, you know, what the history and tradition of the Packers means to the league. And so I think the league was, and then of course Lambeau Field. It's iconic, and it's, I think, on a lot of NFL fans' bucket list is to see Lambeau Field. So kind of tied those together. But the one area where we were a little lacking was in the number of hotel rooms. The numbers aren't exact, but I think the league required 40,000 hotel rooms for a community to be able to host a draft. And we, in Green Bay, we had 8,000. So we had to like rethink. So it was really more, this is going to be more of a state event now, and
Yep.
people are going to be staying all across the state, you know, from Milwaukee and Madison, Appleton, obviously. Really, it was really exciting when the league finally made the decision that, yes, we're coming to Green Bay.
Was there ever any hesitancy on the point of the Packers? Like, can we pull this off? Do we think Green Bay can handle this?
No, never. It was always, this is going to be tremendous for the entire community, the whole state, and it's something we need to do. You know, and we're a community-owned team, so for us, really, you know, one of our core values is giving back to the community. I mean, the Packers would not be in Green Bay were it not for the support of the community over our, you know, long tenure here.
I heard in December from the organizing committee that it was the fifth bid.
Yeah.
A lot of people give up after maybe three. What was it about the fifth bid that the NFL finally decides, you know what, yeah, we're going to come to Green Bay?
Well, you know, I mean, there's only so many cities that were willing to host it. But no, seriously, I think, the league had told us, and given us some signs, I think, along the way that, we like the idea of having the draft in Green Bay. So, but it was obviously very exciting when Roger called and said, you know, I think I've seen that's Green Bay's officially on the clock now when he made the announcement. So that was pretty exciting.
Yeah. In your opinion, just looking around and driving around today, obviously a lot has changed, just in your tenure even.
Sure. No.
Does the draft come to Titletown without the Titletown district?
I don't think so. No. I think Titletown was a key aspect. You know, and it's not just what the Packers have done. You know, I think the Rush Expo, you know, that's a major addition to our community. And you know, I think some of the changes that we've made to Lambeau Field too have kind of modernized it and but not taken away from what's so special about Lambeau Field. But yeah, there's no question Titletown was really integral. And that's, if you look at the plans for the draft, Titletown's right in the middle of it.
Yeah, it's the center of it.
Yeah.
Almost in a way, away from the stage, the
Yes.
experience part
Yeah.
of it. How did Titletown come to be? And was that something that when you started, you came in with this idea that it could happen, or how did
I
it
wish
evolve?
I wish I could say I was that smart. The kind of the thought process there was pretty early on in my tenure. We knew that land around the stadium was valuable, and we'd seen in other professional sports, but probably the most relevant to us, we'd kind of seen what the Patriots had done, around their stadium in Foxborough. We call it Patriot Place, and we really liked that concept of development around the stadium, and made a couple visits out to see what they'd done, really, and took a lot away from that. Did an awful lot of good things, but theirs was ours. We wanted ours to be more community focused. For instance, no private developer would put a full football field right in the middle of your development. The return on the football field is very minimal, it turns out.
Sure.
And the Patriots was great, but it was really, parts of it were like a mall next to a football stadium. And but they had a skating rink, and they had some nice things that we really liked. But for us, we wanted something that was really more community focused, and so with obviously came up with the idea of the tubing hill and the skating trail and the football field. So it's really been pleased with the way Titletown, and of course our initial anchors. We had a number of them, and they've been great. Hinterland and Bell and Health, and some of the others, and obviously Kohler has been instrumental as well. But it's been exciting. We've talked about it as we wanted Titletown to be a place where people can live, work, and play, and having the office building now, and then the townhouses and the apartments. It's been really fun to see how it's developed over. It's been more than 5 years now. It's been exciting, and I think as we looking ahead, I think people will see additional changes that I think will be really nice for the community.
Is it what you envisioned? Is it more?
Yeah, I think it's evolved a little bit, probably a little more than I initially imagined. But I think the changes have all been made in a way that I think really makes sense, and I think it's been a really great addition to the Green Bay area.
No doubt. I mean, if anyone comes up here, I think if they're coming for a tour, they go over there. It's a dependent experience. If you're going to do one, you have to do the other.
Yes.
And it just makes so much sense now, where I think younger fans perhaps look at it and say, how did this ever exist without that kind of codependent relationship?
Well, and it's so great for families.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in the winter. That was funny, because I remember when we were kind of in the process of, and we did a lot of town hall meetings, and we meet with people in the community. And one of the things that kept coming back is, the winters are awful long in Green Bay. Can you do something that will make the winters go by more quickly? And that was really where we came up with the idea for the tubing hill, the Aaron's Hill, and also the skating trail. And it's been, and of course now hardly ever snows anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say.
we have global warming, but no, it's been fun to really see over the years how, especially families, have taken advantage of so many different aspects of Titletown.
So let's talk about the weather real quick. Earlier this month we were up here, it had just snowed.
Yeah.
Today it's a picturesque spring day.
Yeah.
As we record this, it's 28 days away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How do you plan for weather? And am I right in assuming the NFL maybe would welcome the idea of snow?
You are correct, sir. Yes. They would love, I don't think they want like, a huge snowstorm, but some beautiful white snow, big snowflakes coming down the league would love it. But you're right. I mean, in Wisconsin, in late April, we could be 70 degrees or it could be snowing. And yeah, I mean, chances are if you do get snow, it's not going to last long. But yeah, no, we have to be ready for anything. And of course, with the amount of people, the number of people, and we estimate, by the way, it's going to be probably 250,000 or maybe even more coming into the community. So, hopefully the weather doesn't affect travel at all.
Knocking on wood right now.
Yeah.
Throughout this process, I want to say it was May of 2023 that
When
the
we were,
commissioner selects Green Bay.
yeah.
What's perhaps the one thing that has surprised even you about the planning that goes into this, the thought that goes into hosting this, what has become kind of a made-for-TV event?
Yeah. I think we knew it was a big event, but it's the amount, like for instance, the NFL is going to have 1,500 people here working on it. It's stunning. It's 1,500 people from the league office. But yeah, just the size of the event. It's grown over the years. But it's also exciting knowing the economic impact that it's going to have on the community here. And when the drafts in Chicago or in other big cities, yeah, it's great and it has an impact. But the impact that it's going to have here in Green Bay is so significant, so much more, because the size of our community is so much smaller than others, that having an event like this is going to be really something special. And it'll be the largest event ever held in Green Bay.
As a former player yourself, current team president, can you imagine your first pick, first overall?
No, I have a better option. I'm going to go. No, it's not fathomable. It's just changed so much.
Yeah.
And it obviously the growth of the NFL and popularity of the NFL. There's good and bad with that. I think, players, and in my era, but certainly before me, most of them worked in the off seasons because they had to. They weren't making enough money to live year round. But it made the transition for players easier because they've had work experience. And now our players really are expected, or they train year round. So it's quite a bit. Just the game has changed so much too.
Just a few more, and then I'll
Sure.
let you go.
Yeah. You did a lot of research.
Did a little homework.
Yeah, that's great.
I didn't want to come unprepared.
Yeah.
I found this quote that I find maybe more relevant than it was at the time. July 2016, Ed Policy to the Green Bay Gazette on You. He says, quote, "He gets what he wants, yes, but what's baked into what he wants is taking a lot of other credible and qualified opinions into account," i.e., a true leader in a community while also playing in a, I guess for lack of a term, I'll call it big boy business. The NFL is a huge business. How do you balance that? The smallest community in just a huge business.
Yeah, we're small, the smallest community by far in all of professional sports. But we've got one of the most iconic, stadiums. I think our reputation is extremely positive across the NFL. I do think, I think a lot of the owners of NFL teams kind of look at Green Bay like, how are they doing that? They're not really sure. I mean, they know our ownership structure, but I think it's a credit to everybody and who's been involved with the Packers over the years that we not only have great success on the field, but have been very successful, from a financial standpoint. And I think, again, for us, given our ownership structure and the fact that we're owned by the community, giving back is really one of our high priorities.
Why was investing in Lambeau while maintaining its historic facade and just feel so important to you in your tenure here?
Well, it's our most important asset, and making sure that it lasts as long as possible is number one priority. We want to make sure that this is a place that people want to continue to come to and watch games. And it's a little bit of a balancing act. Part of what makes Lambeau Field special is when you sit in a stadium, you're having the same experience that fans had when they watched Vince Lombardi coach here. So, but there are certain expectations that fans have when they come to NFL games. For instance, you want to be able to see replays on the video board, and so I think we've done a pretty good job of balancing, the tradition and the history, but still having the modern amenities that people have come to expect.
What's your perhaps most memorable thing that's happened while you've been in the war room for one of these drafts?
Oh my gosh. Well, I tell you, this was an odd year. This was in COVID year.
Okay.
And I will never
virtual
forget.
Draft.
Yes, virtual draft. So I'm trying to remember. I think I was at home, but ended up getting a call from Brian Gutekunst and the first round, and he said, we're gonna make a trade. We want to draft a quarterback, and that was drafting Jordan Love. And it's funny how I wasn't here then, but probably similar when the Packers decided to draft Aaron Rodgers when they had Brett Favre. But there's an old saying, and I think Brian's done a great job, and I think that's a very good example that he was willing to take a risk, and he knew that it would not be popular within the team or within the community or among our fans. But there is an old saying in the NFL that the best time to draft a quarterback is when you don't need one, and that's worked well for us a couple times.
Yeah.
Now.
And follow up to that.
And by the way, the whole virtual, that was a weird year. It's like kind of having a draft done virtually, and that was a challenge for every team and for the league, and I thought the league did a good job pulling that off. And but yeah, it's hard. It's hard to remember what we had to go through with COVID, but and it seems like it was a lot longer ago than 5 years.
I was gonna say, I remember coaches sitting at their kitchen tables and watching and everything, and commissioners in his basement.
Yeah.
Thank goodness that's not happening this year.
Yes.
Okay, so quick follow-up to that. Who works harder? The folks that spend all year preparing for the draft, or the 1,500 people that are coming here to put this event on in really just a couple of months when it comes down to crunch time?
Oh boy, it's so different. Yeah, I'd have to say, just knowing what Brian and his staff do, it's really rewarding to see the work that they do, and it's year round. Traveling across the country, going from school to school. To see that all come together, the 3 days of the draft it's pretty exciting and so rewarding for them, and so I'd have to say them. Although the league works very hard.
Yes.
But they have a lot of other events that go on throughout the year.
Right.
Yeah. This is for our scouting staff and personnel. This is the whole year comes together in those 3 days.
Yeah. Last one for me. This will be your last draft.
Sure.
As CEO. What does it mean for you for it to be here, and what do you perhaps want people that will make what I'll call a pilgrimage to Lambeau to experience this? What do you want them to take away?
Well, first of all, I'm very honored and excited to have, and just the timing works out so well that my very last year, we're going to be hosting the draft. So really, really pleased to do that. In terms of, what the question was, what do people want to?
Yeah, what do you want people that will come here for the first time in such a low barrier event? They don't have to buy tickets.
Yeah.
What do you want them to take away about this?
Yeah, I would hope that people that are coming here for the draft can take away what a special community Green Bay is. By far the smallest community that has a professional sports team, and just the kind of support that we get here is unmatched. And part of it is our ownership structure, but it's also the support we get from the local community. And we've been tied at the hip. Were it not for the support of our local community, Green Bay Packers years ago would have moved to another city. And so I really excited for fans to be able to come here and see. And the other thing I would say, there's a lot going on in this community, and it's not just Lambeau Field. There's an awful lot of great things going on here, and the entire state of Wisconsin as well. We're hoping that when people are here, maybe they go up to Door County or spend some time in Madison or Milwaukee and see all the different things that the state has to offer.